Wonderful as usual, sir.
Man, you're always wonderful. I like that quality about you. Very positive all the time. That's a beautiful thing. What's been going on the last week? Are you football going? Your son in full swing? What's happening with football?
Full swing. His team won again this past weekend. You know, he was able to contribute 2 touchdowns in the game. So happy that.
Running, passing, what?
Catching.
Catching, okay. Couple receptions.
Yeah, he's actually a little bit better. I remember at one point he couldn't even catch a cold, and here he is catching passes and running for touchdowns. So
it's indicative of hard work and whatever you do. And I know you work very hard with him on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays, and dedicate a lot of time to it. And I know a lot of you fathers and mothers out there dedicate a lot of time to your children's sports and things like soccer and gymnastics and dance and football and basketball and baseball. And thank God we're doing all these things again. But, kudos to all you parents that are supporting your children and making sure they're staying active in sports and doing great things with them. I know Jack does a great job with his children with sports. And I have a 10-year-old and she's pretty much into dance. And, we support what they do. And
Absolutely.
It's a wonderful thing. And I commend you all. Keep supporting your kids. And I know a lot of times with travel soccer and travel baseball, it's tough that you spend your whole weekends in another state. So it's very cool. Keep it up. It pays off, and in all walks of life, in that discipline for sports helps them with other disciplines such as study and
work ethics, help them
living life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The other thing is I wanted to thank you all for watching. Our viewership has gone up, as you were mentioning, and we're getting a lot more views on this sports show, a lot more interest, and I know we want to thank everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching. It's if you like what you see, obviously, hit that notification button, like button. And we're continuing to do what we do as far as giving you information and giving our opinions on certain stuff that's happening in sports right now. But before we go any further,
what's going on?
Let's talk.
What's on your mind?
Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Elephant in the room. What, this room here?
Yeah,
this is a great room.
Yes. So last week,
where's the elephant?
Right.
Overweight.
Right behind us.
Right behind us.
This painting. Tell us about this
painting. That's the horses in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that Jack would mention that. We had a lot of inquiries after last week's show because we've been moving our site around and doing it differently and doing different backgrounds. We wanted to try this background because it's special. This is a painting that was done for me. It's a Del Mar racetrack in Southern California, a famous racetrack. These are actually my racehorses on the track training in Del Mar one early morning. I had a good friend of mine, an artist, come out, and she painted this for me. That's the background. If you've ever been to Del Mar, you know what this is, Del Mar. So it's a very emotional thing for me because I've been fortunate. I haven't talked about it much, but I've been in the horse racing business for many years. I've had many wins with horses, specifically thoroughbreds, not quarter horses or those type of things. It's specifically thoroughbreds, and I've had a lot of success with it, and I try to stay humble about it. Jack wanted to know exactly what this was about, so you all know now. And thanks to the people who commented and inquired about it, because a lady by the name of Kathy Haller printed that for me, painted it for me, not printed it for me, painted it for me, and she did an incredible job. And yeah, those are a few of my horses out on the track getting a little workout in the morning, early mornings. As you can see, the beach. Del Mar is a great track. I don't know if you've ever been there. I highly recommend, if you are looking to take a great vacation, if you're from the East Coast, Midwest, wherever you're from, if you have not been to Del Mar for 4 or 5 days or a weekend, you really need to go during racing season. Horse racing season in Del Mar is from mid-July through the 1st of September, and then they have another meeting in the fall for a couple of weeks. But do yourself a favor, because horse racing doesn't start until 2 o'clock in Del Mar. So you're able to get up, go have breakfast, go to the beach, get a shower, and go watch horse racing till like 6 o'clock. And it is the best experience. Again, if you have not experienced it a weekend, a couple of days at Del Mar, I can't recommend it enough. And horse racing is so much fun, picking horses and what you do there. I've been fortunate. I've won many races at Del Mar, and I've had horses do some great stuff there. And it's been a lot of fun. And I've run in some big races, a few $1 million races, never won them. I've never won $1 million race, but I've won some substantial races. But thanks for bringing that up. It's a great sport. I love it. Again, have you been to Del Mar?
Yes.
great, isn't it?
Yes, I love it. In fact, what we used to do before horse racing season started, they usually have the San Diego County Fair.
Yeah, the fair there. That's right. At the grounds there.
Yes. So it's, you know, and that's when I first found out about Del Mar and how beautiful it is there. You know, and then go horse racing there. Go watch horse racing there.
Such fun. I mean, you can literally have almost a full day and get to the track at 3 o'clock, and it's only the third race.
Yeah.
And it's like they run 10 races, and it's so much fun. And again, take your family there and have a good time. Or, you know, it's really. But thank you for bringing that up. But that means a lot to me. That picture, and horse racing means a lot to me, and I love the sport. And thank you for all of you that inquired about the painting in the back. With that in mind, horses and thoroughbreds and Kentucky Derbies in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's close. It's less than 2 weeks, May 1st. So it's getting close. So
you gave us the winner last year.
Yeah, I know I did. And
unfortunately, you didn't bet the winner.
I changed my mind.
So who should we be looking out for this year?
You know, it's a great question. I've been watching all the prep races, and again, for all of you, we're talking about horses a bit more than we usually do, but it's that time of year in horse racing and Kentucky Derby and the whole Triple Crown series. So it's fun. Get into it. But, you know, it's wide open this year. At first, there was a couple of horses that I thought, you know, Mandolin was really, really looking good. This horse, Mandolin, Greatest Honor, they were running really well, but then they ran in the final prep races to qualify for the Derby. They qualified, but they didn't run very well. And I don't know if it's a matter of they were just, you know, knew that they were already in and not, you know, cranked up. I like this horse, Mandolin. I don't know if it's a Mandaloon or Mandolin. So it looks good. There's also a horse by the name of Known Agenda who won the Florida Derby. I was very impressed by that horse, who beat Greatest Honor, who was the early Kentucky Derby favorite. The favorite right now is probably going to be Essential Quality, which is a great horse. There's some great horses out there. I saw a horse called Soup and Sandwich. That's easy to remember. I like him a lot. You know, the sentimental choice for me is a horse by the name of Hot Rod Charlie, which is kind of a emotional thing in that one of the great trainers out there, Doug O'Neill, and again, for you that know racing, horse racing, Doug O'Neill is a, you know, very, very famous trainer, won the Triple Crown. He's got a nephew, and the nephew and a few of his schoolmates bought into this horse called Hot Rod Charlie. Well, the horse has continued to win and qualified for the Derby. And so his nephew, a young guy, there's a bunch of, I guess these guys are maybe 25, 28 years old. And they all, you know, the group of them are into the horse, and they're going to be at the Derby. And that's the sentimental, because Doug O'Neill's a friend of mine. I like Doug. He's a great trainer. And his nephew with this horse, Hot Rod Charlie. That's my sentimental pick. But I really like this horse, Rock Your World. Rock Your World won the Santa Anita Derby. The Santa Anita Derby is usually a good stepping stone to the Kentucky Derby. If you run well in the Santa Anita Derby, Bob Baffert's won a lot of Santa Anita Derbies and then went on to win the Kentucky Derby. This is a John Sadler horse. He's a great trainer. He's not as famous as Bob Baffert and some of the others. Steve Asmussen and those kind of guys. Todd Pletcher, you all know them. Great, great, great trainers. But who I like this year is my winner. I think is going to be Rock Your World, and the second place horse would be Known Agenda. Third place horse, I'm going to say Hot Rod Charlie. That would be my top three, and we'll talk more about it because horses get sick and whatever. We'll know exactly who's running on our show next week. But preliminary, a couple weeks out, I like Rock Your World. How about you? Who are you looking at?
That's a cool name. I would
Rock Your World.
Yeah, I'll probably do that, or maybe even like a Essential Quality.
That's definitely a favorite.
Do a box with both those horses on it. So
yeah, it's wide open this year, and I really think that if you like playing the Derby and you like betting on it, you're going to make some money. There's value this year. I think if you bet the exactas and the trifectas and superfectas and the exotic bets, I really see an opportunity to make money this year. You know, there's some other horses that are on the fringe. Superstock is good. Like Thinking is another good horse. This horse, Soup and Sandwich, I like him a lot. There's something telling me that horse is going to run well. So, you know, there's a lot of quality there. Essential Quality looks to be your favorite, but I don't think the horse is going to win the race. I think it's wide open. I think it's going to be something 15 to 1 or more this year. It's really not that one horse that dominates. And weeks ago, it looked like Greatest Honor was by far the best horse. Mandolin, however you say it, looked like the best horse. Those guys are like a step down, but they'll probably be there.
Well, after obviously prior to the Derby, we're going to do more research, but I'm going to look for the horse, the basically the top 5 horses where they're good finishers, and it's like those are the horses that I'm going to put my money on. You want to look for good finishers on horses, so then you're not just throwing money out there. You have a chance.
Well, the thing you'll find with the Kentucky Derby, and if you look at past, with 20 horses in a race, and they start and it can be a mess in the beginning. Horses bumping into each other, horses don't. There's a lot that goes on. The horses that go to the lead and break the gate the best are usually, and if they're the quality horse, they usually will be on or near the lead. You really, if you watch past Kentucky Derbies, you got to be in that first or second tier of horses. When you're third, fourth, fifth tier of horses, you're not going to get there. It's very, very, very tough. I mean, the year that Mind That Bird won 100 to 1, whatever it was, that horse came on the rail from out of nowhere. It was Calvin Burrell, and the horse was 100 to 1 or whatever it was. That's rare that they finish like that. You're going to find that your first couple of tiers, the first 6 or 7 horses, they're going to be in the mix, and one of those horses will win the race. They generally do not come back because there's so much dirt kicked in their face. A lot of people don't understand. They watch horse racing and they say, well, why is that horse so dirty at the end of the race? That dirt's kicking up on them, and everybody in front of them, if a horse doesn't like dirt in their face, and a lot don't, they back up and shy away from it. So, in the Kentucky Derby with 20 horses, you got to be near or close to the lead. So it's going to be fun. We'll watch it, and we'll have more comments about it. And that's enough horse racing for today. But there's more and more fans that enjoy that. So it's fun to do. We'll have our formal picks next week, and we'll see exactly who's running. But we got a lot going on. Major League Baseball's in full swing.
Full swing. Dodgers are on top right now.
Playing great ball.
Best in the majors right now at I believe it's 13-4.
Correct. Yeah, 13-4.
But one of the things about the Dodgers that's impressed me is not only pitching but hitting, and that's usually you start the season, one's working out and one's are not. But right now, it's like at one point I'm looking at what's their weakness right now.
Yeah. Well,
So they're playing good ball. You have a Boston, which I didn't even pick them to be any good right now, and here they are, on top of their division, whereas the Yankees are in the bottom.
Yeah, you got to remember Boston started 0-3, and everybody said, "What is wrong with these guys?" They went on to win 9 games. So their record is 11-6 now, I think, and they've lost a couple lately. But Boston's playing good ball. The Yankees are struggling, man. I mean, and I heard Aaron Boone on an interview the other day, and he says, "Well, you got to work through the bad times. It's a long season. We're going to be okay. We're going to win." And you got to tell the media that. You got to tell your players that.
But then
you better start picking it up, bro.
But since then, the Yankees are on a 5-game losing streak. So at the end of the
Not
day,
playing well.
These games right now, you're gonna wish they were there at the end of the season, because you might be 2 or 3 games back, whether or not you make the playoffs or not, and you're gonna wish you had these games.
Yeah, and it's funny. Another contender, Atlanta Braves, 7-9, not playing well. The Braves are loaded. They got that Ronald Acuna Jr., who was, this guy's unbelievable. That kid. What a great player and what a great leader. And of course, Atlanta has Freddie Freeman, who's unbelievable. But they're not playing well. And a lot of teams aren't playing well, but you're getting some surprises. Cincinnati's playing well. Tampa Bay continues to be a good team. They were a good team last year, as we know. They're in the World Series. Seattle's playing well.
Seattle's surprised me.
Playing very well. The Angels are playing well.
Yeah, even the A's are actually. The A's are. I was quite surprised. Well, one of the things that if we're going to talk about baseball, let's talk about the rivalry between the Dodgers and the Padres.
It's real now, isn't it?
Oh man!
These guys just don't like each other. They got a lot of games left. That first 3-game series, they were arguing, spitting at each other. I mean, all kind of stuff. Kershaw getting fired up, and
I was excited.
They were battling.
And then I looked at the schedule. When do these guys play again? And then the baseball gods blessed us with this weekend. That they're gonna have a 4-game season.
Yeah, at Dodger Stadium, it's going to be rocking, and fans are in there now. So they're letting some fans in. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I mean, you're right. That rivalry, all of a sudden, the Padres and Dodgers don't like each other. Manny Machado is, popping off, and Tatis, and that guy Profar. He's a fiery kid, and the Padres are fired up. The one thing that's a negative for the Dodgers right now is Cody Bellinger has a hairline fracture of his tibia, and he hasn't played, I think, since April 5th. That hurts because he's an MVP. He's one of the MVP candidates every year. With him out, it's going to hurt the Dodgers a little bit. But like you say, they're loaded. Guys like Justin Turner and Chris Taylor and Seager at shortstop, and in the pitching staff. I don't know if you knew this, but the Dodgers already have 4 shutouts. What have they played? 17 games, 4 shutouts already, and one other team has 4 shutouts, Milwaukee. So good pitching staff. The Dodgers are loaded. It's going to be tough to beat them, but the Padres are up for it, man. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun watching them, and to see that, hey, man, they're only 2 hours away from each other. So I can't wait to see what they have to bring for us this weekend. Let's talk about NFL right now.
Yeah, draft coming up.
Yeah, we got draft coming up. Of course, we're going to do an in-depth show on the draft, and we're not necessarily going to talk about the players. We're going to talk about the teams and their need. Yeah. And whether it's at the linebacker position, whether it's the quarterback position. A lot of teams are,
as you mentioned, offensive line. Left tackles are really needed in a lot of places.
Yeah, so that's where our show's going to be focused on, rather than who's going to be number 1, number 2. It's teams and their need, and we're going to talk about your team and what their need is, and hopefully they fill that gap. We know certain teams, they need more than just one position at need.
Well, there's teams that have a lot of needs. What's interesting to me is, as you talk about going into the draft, and as Jack said, we're going to have a full show on the draft only. We're going to talk about it. But you talk about teams, the thing that caught my eye about the NFL so far this offseason is that Tampa Bay has all 22 positions coming back, all 22 starters, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. The people that they weren't signed that were free agents, they re-signed everybody that they had to re-sign, and they have all 22 starters coming back. Now that's a franchise that is forward thinking, that is positive thinking, and doing what it takes to sign players. And Brady restructured his contract so they had more money. He's a cool cat, so he would do something like that. He wants to win. But don't you find that amazing that the Super Bowl team, generally people are going to go get money elsewhere because they won the Super Bowl and had a good year, and guys go load up and get money someplace else, and they're never any good anymore. They get on lousy teams, but all 22 committed back for this season. Don't you find that amazing?
Because the will to win was bigger than their pocket. They would prefer to win. They're going to get paid. It's a matter of winning, and that's why when I see these max contract quarterbacks, which takes up about 33, 30 to 34% of the cap space. Okay, you're gonna get your money, but you're gonna be injured the whole time, and you're not gonna win. So you need protection, you need weapons, you need somebody to throw it to, you need to make sure that the running back get a little something. You need a decent running back, otherwise you're gonna get I remember the year when the Green Bay Packers, they had to use their running back, their wide receiver as running back, because that's how inept
I remember
that position was. So it's what it shows is Tampa Bay would rather win than everybody gets paid, because guess what? They get paid handsomely, and
they're all getting paid.
And in a sense, like, hey, they might be getting, as winners, you generally get off the field deals and so it's.
Yeah,
they want to win.
They get their perks,
and it's an example that other teams should follow. But I don't like to look at anybody else's money if that's what they choose to do. But then you can't complain that your team doesn't have any weapons, because guess what? They can't afford any weapons because you have 33% of the cap space.
Yeah, but they threw down. They threw down like, hey, this is what we're going to do. We re-signed everybody. They got everybody to come back. A guy like Fournette could have gone someplace and got a lot more money.
Absolutely.
And he re-signed with them. A couple of really good linebackers signed with them. They set the pace for the upcoming year as far as automatically automatically the favorite. It's a matter of injuries again, like a lot of sports we talk about. It's staying healthy. It's keeping Brady healthy. It's keeping defensive linemen healthy. You know, in Adamic Suh, we signed with them, and he's the guy who's moved around the league a lot for the money. He took less money to stay with Tampa Bay. So, you know, it's to me, that's what sports should be about. Not these guys that are just, man, they got to have more money than they really need, and then they just blow it all anyways. But, you know, football, the draft is coming up. I'm kind of curious with your Jets. I know you're a big Jet fan. Are they going to take Zach Wilson out of BYU?
They are, but
what do you see there? How do you rate him?
I actually think that he's going to be better than despite you liking Justin Fields. I think he's going to be better than Fields. The only other person I would see him being better than is Lawrence.
Lawrence is going to have a great career,
but it all depends on their environment. Can they flourish? Do they have time to throw that ball? Are they going to be? Do they have the football IQ to don't take that sack, throw the ball away, to be able to read the defense, all that stuff? It's going to come into play. Just because you played well in college, because a lot of those colleges it's system, and it works. The system works. In the NFL, it's grown men, and as long as you have people watching film, you're going to be
absolutely. What do we always say? In the NFL, they watch film. They will figure you out.
They will figure you out.
They will figure you out. It's as they always say, it's a copycat league in the NFL. They all copy each other's offenses, defenses. What's the latest fad? They always say that the NFL is a copycat league.
But one of the thing that you have to watch out for is where they go and can they be protected?
Yeah, and that's quarterback is so important.
So, and that's why I feel like no matter what the Jets do, no matter what quarterback the Jets get, if they have to protect him. The O-line needs to be good. And one of the things, the last time the Jets had a decent quarterback was Chad Pennington back then.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons why he was not playing, he always got injured, was the O-line was terrible. And then they drafted the Brickshaw Ferguson and bolster up the O-line to protect him. And he ended up having one full season where he played all the games. So you have to protect the quarterback.
Yeah, and it's with this league and how quick defensive changes in that a lot of smaller guys are playing linebacker. They're not the big bulky linebackers,
but they're fast.
They are the speed linebackers now that are not that 240, 250. These guys are going like 220 now. And I mean, they can run like a deer. And the NFL is changing. So you're absolutely right. You got to protect. And, you know, I'm kind of interested that in looking at the quarterbacks and watching a lot of college football. I'm surprised that kid, Kyle Trask from Florida, who was prolific, who had an incredible year as a great passer. I'm surprised that he's not up there higher. I'm surprised that he's not in the top 10.
I think that has a lot to do with the team that he has around. Because
Florida was pretty good. I mean, he had the best tight end in football. Who's going to go in the top 5?
Not the team in Florida itself, but I'm talking about the team as far as his PR team. The reason why a lot of these guys are moving up, because they haven't done anything different since the football season was over. So how are these guys going up? Because their PR team is pushing it in the media to let's talk about my guy, talk about this guy, sending out the highlight films, so then people start talking about it, on the networks. His team, who is running his PR team, they're not doing that for him for his stock to go up, because
he's a pocket passer. He's not a big runner. He can run, but I think the kid's being underrated. I think the kid's a good.
But most teams would prefer a pocket passer than a runner, because as soon as you get out of that pocket, you're prone to be injured, because you're become a runner now, and that's why it's hard to do. Do you want a quarterback that can be hey, if the pocket collapse, can they still make a move? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, as long as they can stay in that pocket and make that pass, that gives them the long threat to have a deep receiver down there, because they stood in the pocket and they waited for the play to develop rather than make a mistake and getting injured or so. Or turn the ball over.
we'll talk a lot more about it next week, the actual draft. And I mean, there's 5 quarterbacks going in the top 10. I believe Justin Fields is going to be the best. That's my opinion. I think it's well-founded. We'll see what happens. I'm surprised he's going 10th, but we'll talk more about that. We're going to talk specifically about team needs and where everybody, how we think the first round is going to go. We'll talk about the first round, not much more than that. We'll give you some ideas. I hope all of you are interested. I know it's interesting. I mean, I was kind of shocked that ABC is showing the draft live. Now ABC is taking it over, and it's like, oh my God, they're going to show the live draft. It's not going to be, ESPN and ABC are part of the same network, but the draft is going to be live on ABC.
Yeah, because
that's crazy. And then I guess year 22, it's going to be in Vegas again, or 23.
Yeah,
That'll be fun.
It would be. But one of the reasons why they put it on ABC is because they'll get more viewership on it. Where I think that's where they should be putting Monday Night Football instead of having it on ESPN, because you'll have more viewership because it's in a sense free TV. So whereas ESPN, you've got to be a part of the paid network to get that. So
well, it's going to be fun. Again, there's so much sports going on right now, and as you all know, we have an NBA show. We'll talk specifically NBA. That's why we haven't brought it up. We dedicate a show every week to what's going on and one of the major sports out there. And MLS soccer has started again. Hockey's in full swing. Teams like the Golden Knights are playing well. I see the Knights are back in first place. Boston is playing very well. Washington's playing well. The golf tournament this week, the golf tour, Stewart Cink won it. It's not like the Masters. It's almost like an afterthought. Oh, okay, Stewart Cink won this week. So is there anything else you wanted to talk about in closing? And there's so much going on, and it's tough to fit it into this 30-minute show we have every week.
Happy retirement to Alex Smith. He's
many blessings, Alex Smith.
Yeah,
good dude. One of the best guys ever to play in the NFL. Good man.
And he's been in so many situations where he could have been nasty. He could have been,
great guy.
But the man has character, and he just sees the next chapter as, let me give it my best shot, and that's what he's done throughout his career. Whether it's being traded, twice, or going through injury and trying to come back. In fact, last year he got comeback player of the year, despite me saying
awesome.
But
I told you he was going to win. But hey, any guy that has 18 surgeries on his leg from 2018 and comes back and has that type of result that makes the playoffs, man, that's my kind of guy. That's a real dude. That's what I call a real dude. And much respect to Alex Smith, and he'll do great in retirement. He's a great guy and great family man. So I want to thank you all for watching our show this week. It's a lot of fun. We got a lot of exciting things coming up. The draft, the Kentucky Derby. Continue to see what's going on. We'll have a report on what happened between the Dodgers and Padres over the weekend. That is a fun series, like you said. Thanks for bringing that up. Very competitive. And again, I want to thank you all for watching and liking us and sharing us. Continue to share with your friends. And we like when you comment. I know Jack was mentioning we had some comments this week, and some good ones, and people had commented on our background. So we thank you very much. Have a great week, great weekend. We look forward to seeing you next week and talking some more sports. Thanks for viewing us.
Hit that notification button.
God bless. See you soon.